5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Great. Well, I'm here. That didn't quite work out how I was meant to. It's been a long day, not just for me, but my guest tonight as well. I'll get this right in a second. Bear with me, Bernard. Bear with me. There we go. That's what it should have looked like. Obviously didn't. It's the preview show. It's back after a few weekends, 3 weekends for us, of not having our weekend ruined by watching Leicester City play. Unfortunately, like a fart in a lift, it hangs around and it's come back. And we are playing Manchester City. Bloody Manchester again. What is it about Manchester clubs this season? Can I just say to Kate, if she's watching, I had to explain this to her. I kind of just say that it is a Spanish matador and a tulip seller. But she is blonde. But before we start, can I just say hi to Jim? Now, Jim, you will know, is a co-presenter here on the channel, all the way from Florida. Jim is going in for some major surgery. In fact, they are prepping him as we speak now. And I thought I'd do a little picture for him. And the worrying thing is on the app that I use, when I said, please show me a picture of a patient in bed so that I can merge the faces, they put him in bed with his doctor. Now, whether this is an American thing or not, or whether it's just something you get on if you go private and not use the NHS, or is it the NHS because they want to keep the doctors handy for you? I don't know, but Jim, I hope you're well, mate, and I hope that you will be back with us soon, and fingers crossed that everything goes well and that you don't wake up after you're up and find the doctor in bed with you. Or you might want to, who knows. It's the preview show. Let's get it going. I will say a very good evening to Manchester City fan and tired Manchester City fan, but congratulations beating my local team, although not the team I support, Bournemouth, last night. A long journey down and even longer journey back, Bernard.
Awful, mate. I mean, it's actually my very first time going to Bournemouth in all the years. I missed out in the 80s and I've missed out recently because I've never had enough points to get a ticket because you only get 900 tickets for Bournemouth, so it's way above my threshold. But a good friend who had a lot more points than me wasn't going, so he gave me the ticket, and it all went very well. All went superbly well until, of course, I have to get up for work at 2:30 in the morning, and the coach broke down in Kiel, only about 40 minutes away from where we were going to end up. But we had to wait 2 hours then for the guy to bring the puncture repair kit for for the lorry. So yeah, it was a bit tiring. I was in work at 3:00, and I was literally falling asleep standing up while I was doing things. It was terrible. It was, but I've livened up now. I've had a few coffees, and I'm ready. And I'm like him there in the bed.
I'm going to say this wasn't you on the right as we look, was it?
Yeah, I'd prefer a nicer doctor though. I wouldn't mind one of the female persuasion.
Yeah.
But I'm greedy. I'm greedy like that.
I just imagined you saying then that you were a brain doctor or something and you were falling asleep, stood up. I know the NHS is in trouble, but good God, you know what I mean. But, good evening, like I say to everybody. Welcome along. It is LTID TV from Leicester Till I Die. It is the preview show. Bernard, very kindly joining us. Where are you from, Bernard?
Well, I'm a local lad. I'm originally in Manchester, born in Manchester, 20 minutes walk away from Main Road. And I'm living in Altrincham now, which is a bit more. Well, having said that, I was going to say a bit more red territory, but it isn't. There's quite a big sprinkling of blues.
I would have said a bit posher.
Yeah, well, it's Cheshire, but it's the rough end of Cheshire.
Yeah, it's very nice that we know where you live. But I did mean what site are you from? Tell us about your site. Oh, I'm forgiving you because you're tired.
It's like I remember when we first went to, I think it was my first wedding anniversary. We went to a hotel in Blackpool, and the guy asked us, "Oh, where are you from?" And I said, "Oh, we came from Chalton Street bus station."
This is obviously a question that you do have a problem with. But no, tell us all about your site, Bernard.
Yeah, I mean, you might know, some people might know, I do film and TV stuff as well. So rather than call it a city sort of thing, I just do it under my name because it's quite a unique name anyway. Bernard Deneen. If you look on TikTok and X and Facebook, if you look for Bernard Deneen on all of those, I'm the only one who pops up. So I thought, well, I'll stick with that rather than trying to do a citizen channel and a film and TV channel. So it's just easier to give me name. So everything's at Bernard _Deneen or Bernard Deneen on Facebook and everything. So that's where you can put that name in. I'll come up on Google and everything.
That is down, obviously, just under yourself there. Interestingly, I was at school, and yes, I did go to school. I was at school with a Carl Deneen.
Ah. One end, was it one end though? Because the two ends is very uncommon. It's very posh. The two ends.
I have just celebrated my 64th birthday. I cannot remember what I did at school. How we spelt it, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, most Deneens are spelt with one N, D-I-N, but we're D-I-double-N. There's not very many of us around.
You are coming over as a bit of a Mrs. Bouquet. You know, the name is Deneen with two N's.
Two N's, yes.
It's another late kickoff, but thankfully for yourself, it is local this time, so you've not got far to go. This Wednesday, the 2nd of April, watch along. We're doing a live watch along here from 7:15, kickoff 7:45. I saw a lot of people complaining, and including Mark Goldbridge, the fact that why weren't there other games this weekend? I mean, I know it was you were obviously in the FA Cup, so we couldn't have had this game, but it did. I don't think it's been a long time since it's been an FA Cup only weekend this late into the competition.
Yeah, I mean it is odd, isn't it? I mean, I'm sure if they could have squalled some in, they would have done. I mean, how would Newcastle have called? They wanted to have the little parade, didn't they? So they didn't want to play any teams. They could plan for certain things. I'm glad for the rest. I think most fans are, aren't they? I'm glad to have a week or two off, especially if things aren't going so well. We'll have a little break, don't we?
We didn't want to come back at Leicester, I tell you. That's the thing.
When we played, it was what, 2 or 3 months ago when we played at your place.
December, yeah. December.
I was down. I went down to that one, and I was quite impressed. I thought he played really well. I mean, in that game, I thought we were lucky to come away with the victory in the end. And
one of our better games was we only let 2 goals in, but we will come on to that.
I mean, I thought at the time that he'd get it right, that it won't be a problem. He'd done okay, hadn't he, when he got there for a couple of games. But where it's gone since then, it's just literally fallen off a cliff, really, hasn't it?
It has. But like I say, we will come on to that. But just want to look at the table. I mean, look, at the start of the season, we were predicting 17th because of a points deduction and what have you. Maybe I would have been happy with the points deduction. It would have been an excuse to be down there. But thank God for Southampton this season. That's all I'm saying. But looking at yourself, you're fifth. You always do seem to sort of never have brilliant starts to a season, but you usually sort of, by now, you've usually come back.
Yeah.
How, as a Man City fan, do you look at that and thinking fifth? And I know a lot of people are saying that the plan is, well, you probably get a points deduction this season, so it doesn't really matter. Or are you sort of disappointed with the sort of squad and the manager you've got to be there, in fifth place?
See, it's not just one thing. I mean, the people, obviously, the loss of Rodri is a massive thing, of course. And we do have, you mentioned there, the 115. I mean, as far as City fans are concerned, we're confident that it won't be a problem. We're confident that it's the other guys that have caused all the trouble, and they're going to have the tail between the legs, etc. But we can't win that anyway, because people will say we just bought people. I don't know who we're supposed to be buying off. We're supposed to be buying off the Premier League, who've done us in the first place. I don't know. But anyway, that'll sort itself out. But Pep took his eye off the ball. Simple as that. He's had a few personal problems this year as well. You may have heard of those. And it's just it's a few things. It's not just Rodri. It's not just Pep. It's not just the 115 hanging over him and stuff like that. It was the decisions made in the summer of not actually going out. Pep thought he could get one more year out of these guys. And that's what he thought. He thought he could go for 5. He thought we could do 5 in a row. And of course, that faith was misplaced because age has caught up with them. With any of these players, people the likes of KDB, Gundo, they're just Bernardo, another player who 2 years ago could have walked into any team in the world, and now half the time it's always just going through the motions. Phil Foden fallen off a cliff; his form's fallen off a cliff. So it's a multitude of things. I mean, we were delighted, of course, just to be getting to Wembley for a semi-final. We'd be happy to try and get an FA Cup this year. But of course, as far as the project's concerned, it's going to be really painful for us if we don't get top 5, if it's the first 5 to get to the Champions League, because everything's been built to that now, and that's what we want. And of course, Pep knows it all. The buck will stop at him, but he's got another 2 years left. It's disappointing, but hey, you can't, you do 4 in a row has never been done before. Pep believed we could do 5 in a row. We didn't believe we'd lose Rodri, but we didn't take any steps to allow. We didn't get any cover. That's a problem. So we took a chance, and we blew it on the football pitch anyway this season. So hopefully we can get 4th or 5th. But
I mean,
an FA Cup and that'd be nice. But hey,
I will agree with you
there next year.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with you regarding the 100, the 115 and what have you, because we had our problems, as we said, we're saying before we came live with PSR, and we did not do anything. Well, obviously we did something wrong to be charged, and if we'd done it wrong, we'd have been charged. But they always said, you got out of it. You had a good lawyer and all this. Well, a lawyer, that's his job to find loopholes, and absolutely. As he said, Nick DeMarco, who's obviously probably the best football lawyer out there. You've used him, I believe, in the past. He said there's no loopholes. There's just badly written rules. Yeah. I
mean, these, we're not talking. I mean, I'm not talking about going back to the days of Peter Swales and whoever chairman we had in those days. We're talking intelligent people. We're talking billions of pounds in people who invest billions of pounds worldwide. And you've got to believe at some stage there may be rules written that you think, that's not fair. There's a way around. We can certainly we're not having that sort of thing, But I mean, you can't. There's a lot of there's auditors. I mean, when you audit system, you audit figures, and they're basically saying our auditors are cheats as well and liars. Not just the club, but the official, the outside organisation. So it's ridiculous. I mean, and obviously with Leicester, as you say, it's probably, I don't know the details of it, but of course, what we're getting charged with is absolutely, it's just massive, isn't it? It's just unprecedented, and most of it has already been cleared for by the European one. Most of the charges were similar to that anyway, and they were trying to get us on the same sort of thing. So. we can't do anything. We were told it's going to be sorted. It's not been sorted. If we end up getting the points deduction, but as far as we're concerned as fans, we don't think we've done anything wrong because our chairman's told us we've not done anything wrong, and we believe him. We might be idiots, but we can only go off what we're told.
You were saying exactly 100% the same as we were saying about Leicester when it all came up, and we were in trouble. The problem is that you will never convince fans from other clubs that, well, something must have gone on, and we still get that now, but he says, well, you should be bottom technically, and if we somehow manage to get into 17th and stay up, it will all be, well, you should have gone down that season because blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But I want to talk, you did say about Rodri. I want to come onto the managers here. Before we get on to Pep himself, Rodri, I mean, you ask, I mean, you say like, well, we hadn't got cover. And, fans from other clubs, and I will say this, I will look at it and go, well, hang on, you're Manchester City. What do you mean you haven't got cover? You've got a squad, you've got the best players in the world. You've surely got cover there. If you can't afford to get cover in, that's not our problem.
I don't think it's money. It's nothing to do with money. It's the player that Pep needs in that position. That's the problem. They're just not available. They're just the ones who tried. Calvin Phillips was brought in, of course, originally. Gundogan did a good job 2 or 3 years ago. It was probably hoped he could do little bits and pieces this year to give Rodri a rest, but he's just not up to it. He's not the same player that he was 2 or 3 years ago, so he can't do that. He brought Kovacic in to play that sort of number six role, if you like. And again, he's a good player, but Pep's system, you've got to be at it. And it's meant Pep's had to change his system this season. He's never played for about 3 or 4 years the wingers. He's had the false nines and all this sort of thing. Yeah. All of a sudden this year, he's brought Doku and Savvy in, and we're having to adapt, and Ireland's having to adapt, and it's just an ongoing thing. And as far as cover for Rodri, you can't cover Rodri. You can't do another Rodri. There's no such thing as it. It's like when Fernandinho was there. Rodri was never going to be another Fernandinho. Rodri was Rodri and Ferner was Ferner, and that's the thing. And obviously Pep and the team, the guys behind the scenes, the sporting director, of course, is going cheeky. So we've got a new sporting director. So I think there's a little bit of problem there as well with one going and one coming. They've missed out a little bit, because they usually organise it very well. They usually have 3 names for positions. If you've ever seen the documentaries, they have the 3 guys they want. They have the top pick, and they have another 2 others. And obviously, somewhere on the line, someone said, oh no, we'll be all right. We'll go another season. You'll be all right, Pep. And Pep, don't forget, Pep was sort of going. He only re-signed another 2 years. So everything adding up together. And I don't think it's money, because of course we've got the money, and we spent money in January to try and prop up the team. We got it. It's just getting the right player. And for Pep's system, there just isn't anyone that compares to Rodri at the moment. There's a couple.
It's interesting you say in Pep's system, because every team almost adopted Pep ball, didn't they? And that was, if you like, Ruud van Nistelrooy's problem is that he came in. We'd had a manager like Enzo, who had played Pep ball for obvious reasons, got us promoted. And then obviously buggered off to Chelsea, which, all right, it was hurtful, but I understand it was a better job, better money. Of course you're going to go. Yeah. If you'd stayed and we were where we are, we wouldn't have got offered that now. Steve Cooper came in, different style of football completely, that we struggled to adapt to in a team that wasn't Premier League standard anyway. Ruud's come in, hasn't been able to add to the team. The problem with Ruud is, He adopted this style, say Pep ball and what have you, which, let's be honest with you, it doesn't provide the most exciting football going. He got a win and a draw, and then it just went completely wrong. And we've apart from Tottenham, we've not won another game in the league since. And he hasn't changed it. He stuck at it for so long, and it's only just the last couple of games where he actually looked at it and went, oh, maybe we need to try something different. Yet, no shit, you should have been doing that 6, 7, 8 games ago. But I mean, Ray, I think he's probably a little bit tongue in cheek here, but he goes, Pep is overrated. I wouldn't say he's overrated. I have to say he's just done 4 in a trot. He's completely ruined Mahrez and Grealish. I don't know about Mahrez. I thought he did all right.
I think Mahrez was Mahrez. I don't think he did. But Grealish, I'd agree. Grealish, I would totally agree. Because, I mean, a few weeks ago, he was asking Grealish to show a little bit more flair. But he'd already coached that out of him. So what are you asking him to show more flair for? You told him you want him to hold the ball. You don't want him to lose it. You want him to move it, circulate the ball, buy fouls. And that's what he asked him to do game after game, season after season when we won the treble and the Champions League. That's what he asked him to do, and that's what he did superbly. Then all of a sudden, Pep tells him he wants a bit more of the Aston Villa Grealish, and he'd coached that out of him by then, so he's not going to get it. So yes, I agree with the Grealish part of Ray's comment. I certainly don't agree with the Mahrez part.
I don't agree with Mahrez.
Mahrez at the end of the day.
Yeah, I thought he did well for you, Mahrez, but Grealish, and Phil Foden as well, if you like. He's kind of had the shine taken off him as well. He has signed another 2-year contract. Look, I can remember saying when Man United had won their 18th title, oh my God, please let somebody else win it. And it was nice that when Man City came along, but we were all, as non-Manchester City fans, and don't get me wrong, as a Man City fan, if I was a Man City fan, I would be loving it unbelievably. But from an outside point of view, thank God you're not going to win it again. You know what I mean? Just give us something different to look at.
It should be. That's how it should be. You can't just go we'd all love to year on year win it. But it doesn't work like that, does it? And you can have, 2 seasons ago we were probably untouchable, and now all of a sudden we're very ordinary, and then we have to accept that as a club. We've got to redo it. 2 years probably isn't long enough for Pep to do that, so I do worry about that aspect of it. Unless he's going to bring someone like Vincent Kompany back into the fold and work together, and then he'd take over, something like that. Of course, if Vinny does well in the Champions League, he's doing okay in the Bundesliga, of course. He's the ideal guy to come in a couple of years' time and replace Pep. That'd be for City fans, that'd be great. Whether it would be the right thing, I'm not too sure. He's got to prove he can do it in the big league yet.
Well, he's got another couple of seasons yet, hasn't he? While Pep's still there to do it.
I think that's what we're trying to do. And even if you look at, we're bringing Ferner back into the fold as a coach. Fernandinho, bringing him on the coaching side, which will be, I don't know what our coaches do sometimes apart from Pep, because we don't seem to have a defensive coach. We don't seem to have a set piece coach who can do anything properly, because they're just a total waste of time. So, if you can...
Welcome to our world, that's all I'm saying.
Gundo was the same. Gundogan came back, and of course he's doing coaching badges and stuff like this. So there's all sorts of options. For me, Pep hasn't got, in 2 years, isn't going to rebuild this team properly. He can't do it. It's impossible from where we are now.
Think, though, and this is what gets me with Manchester United fans, and I've got some friends everybody's got friends that are Man United fans, obviously. But, this sort of like, we want to be back to where we were. Well, you are back to where you were, which was your pre-Alex Ferguson years. It's the wrong period for you. I mean, pre-Alex Ferguson, and I'm old enough to remember, it was Liverpool with the big team. Then it was Manchester United. Then it was Chelsea. Now it's Man City. It goes in circles, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course it does. It has to. It's as simple as that. It's Liverpool, when they won their last league title, of course, before they won the one in 2020. Was it 30 years or something like that?
Yeah.
You'd have said that about Liverpool 30 years ago, that they won't win another title. You'd have said, behave yourselves, and it's the same with us. I mean, someone said to us now, you're not going to win a title now for however long. We say, behave yourselves, we'll be all right. But it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't. We did, these were the sort of the last game that we both played. Our 4th time against Manchester United this season, which is what I was saying. I'm fed up with playing teams from Manchester. We've played them 4 times, lost all 4 of those. 2 of those are actually when Rude was there. So we're not hoping for much this weekend. But look, your game against Bournemouth, like you say, you went behind last night, but then did come back to win it. Are you surprised? I suppose, again, that this is your season, isn't it? Because a couple of seasons ago, you'd have probably gone down there and won that 3 or 4-0.
Yeah. Yeah, we're ordinary, mate. I mean, there's no comparison with this. I mean, he named the team last night, and you look at the midfield, and it's like someone said to me the other day. I think it was quite good. He said it's like having a bunch of wheelie bins in the middle of the pitch because there's no manoeuvre, there's no pace, there's no legs in it. There's just no legs there, so we can get people can run through us and run over us and do various things, and we don't have a left and right back. Pep's never really had a left and right back, but he's had players who can do the job. And at the moment, we're struggling because we just don't have a left and right back. And we got 2 central defenders left; the rest are injured. So we're just very, very ordinary. And as I say, we bought 4 players in January, and these players have been expected to come in and do the job, and they've done it because Pep's system usually means they take a couple of years to acclimatise, but our best players are our new players. It's as simple as that. That just shows how bad the older players have sort of fallen off a cliff, if you like, because the outstanding players for us at the moment are the 3 or 4 guys we brought in January.
As we go through this show, I'm going down from I started at 6-0 to you, but the more you say, I've gone down to 5. So keep it on. We might get a 0-0.
Well, I can give you 2 positives as well. Obviously, I don't think Haaland will be playing because he was in a crutches last time.
I saw that earlier, and yeah. I'm sorry, but
yeah. And the other thing, of course, is Pep's been banned from the touchline. He's on a ban now. He's going to miss the Leicester game, so he can't be on the touchline. And to be honest with you, when we played without Pep on the touchline, even when we've had a good team, when Arteta was there, standing in for him in the 4 or 5 years ago, we were horrible. We're horrible without Pep on that touchline. We're terrible. So there's another one. You can knock it down to probably 1 or 2-0 now with those 2 things.
Hey, I'm down to a 0-0 at the moment. I mean, you're saying about Pep, and that's interesting because. We had a point with Nigel Pearson where he was in the stands for a few games, and we actually did better. But I mean, do you think when you give a manager a touchline ban, because of course they're all mic'd up and everything these days, does it make that huge a difference? I mean, it's like
I think it does with Pep. I think Pep's so. I always thought, occasionally when Pep teams went down to 10 men, for instance, I mean, you know yourself, sometimes your team improves when you're down to 10 men, you're more organised. But as soon as Pep took charge of City, I mean, I watched Mancini, I watched Pellegrini City teams go down to 10 men, and there wasn't a lot of difference. We're still very, very good. Now, you put a Pep team down to 10 men, because of his system, because of the way he plays, it's such a big effect. And I think it was only this season or the end of last season we actually won a game with 10 men. We every time we went down to 10 men, we lost a game, even if we'd been leading. We ended up losing a game. So that's all part of it. I think it's just Pep's influence in that little technical area. He does a lot of. I don't think there's any influence from his right-hand man. I don't know what your right-hand man is at Leicester. Of course, we got
ex-Man United goalkeeping coach, I think.
Right, okay, well,
yeah.
I mean, for Pep, he has yes men, because let's face it, I mean, sometimes when he picks a team, you think that's a Pep team. That no one's putting any sort of input on him to change it. He's going with his tried and trusted, and Pep, You
think because it's Pep, nobody would go? Tried that.
Nico, right? I mean, I had O'Reilly down to start the game yesterday. My Pepsi, when I do a Pepsi 11, I mean, he cried out for the energy. That's what we needed, and yet he stuck the Bernardo, Gundo, KDB, and Kovacic in the and that you're talking, as you say, there's your wheelie bins basically in the middle. If we do that tomorrow, do that Wednesday, there's another one. You can win this one now based on that.
Yeah. No, I'm sure you'll win this one anyway. Look, you won the last one that was when we played the 2-0. But you said earlier on, I mean, this is one of Pep's first games after he took over. You were surprised that I mean we'd got this down as a loss. This was a free hit for us. But I mean, I was quite impressed that we kept it to 2-0.
Yeah. Yeah, we've not played. We've had bits this season. We've had bits where we played very, very well, but generally it's been passing for passing's sake. And you said earlier about Pep's football. I mean, Pep's football, when it's flowing, you think back to the old Leroy Sané days, stuff like that. It was beautiful to watch. It wasn't tippy tappy stuff. It was quality at pace. You know, there was a goal against Arsenal back a few years back where I think it was about 50 passes, and the pace and the speed, even though Arsenal were trying to get hold of and that's just gone now. That's proper Pep's football, not just a matter. He can control games. Don't get me wrong. He can take the sting out of games, which is just part of the tactics. But that's a long time ago, and I think he was trying to revive it a little bit with the Dokus and Savis. But yeah, it is. Sorry,
look, Pep introduced this playing out from the back and all that. I mean, I hate it, to be honest with you.
Well, I think it's evolved, though, hasn't it? I don't think it's the same now. I don't think it's the same.
Well, I don't know. We've not watched Leicester recently. You'll see in a minute when we look at the style of play. We sort of get up to the halfway line and think, well, hang on, what are we doing out this? When you go on swimming and you can't see, any land, you think, shit, I've gone too far. It's a bit like that with our players in the halfway line. We do play it out from the back, not as much in the last couple of games because he kind of changed the system a little bit. But before, and thinking like, if you're going to lose the ball, which we often did, I'd sooner lose it in your half and give us a chance to get players back than lose it, just outside our penalty area.
Yeah, I mean, like Edison's influence has waned a little bit because we just don't really do as much of that now. It's more long ball stuff from City now. It's just get it up to Haaland, get it out to the wings, stuff like that. So Pep is evolving, and of course, I think generally other managers are realising that they've got to put their own little traits on it as well now. So rather than go, because it's gone. It's been the low press, the high press, the low press, the sort of 10 men behind the ball block. I mean, it's all adapted to it. So you've got to come up with new things anyway, haven't you? And perhaps
with no Haaland, as you said, probably in the team, of course. Is that a definite or is that a possibility?
Well, he had one of these boots on that you put on just to see what's going on, don't you? When you have a little boot. And so I can't see him playing. I can't see him playing on Wednesday night. He might be fit enough for week. We got the derby, of course, at weekend. He might be fit enough for that. But I can't see him playing tomorrow. Even if it's not that bad, I think he'll stick Marmoush up top, who's a good another.
I was going to say who's he likely to play up top? Yeah.
He reminds me of Alvarez in a lot of ways. Very keen, not always gets his feet muddled up sometimes, but you don't want to play against him because he don't know what he's going to do half the time. So the defenders don't either. So I think he'll just play Marmoush up top, probably play Foden on the wing again, actually, and stick Doku on the other wing or Savvy on the other wing if he's available. But he rested him yesterday, so I don't know what's up with Savvy.
I mean, certainly when he plays for England, and that's really the only time I really see Phil Foden now, he's not a winger, though, is he?
No, but he just has to play him Pep does that. He plays him where they particularly don't want to. There's not many he plays in the right position. That's the problem. And of course, Foden was more on the right. He was playing more right, a bit on the left. Him and KDB were sort of swapping about a little bit, but Foden needs to play himself back into some sort of form because he just hasn't got any sort of form for England or City. He's just not had any form recently.
You're playing Leicester, he'll get a hat trick. I mean, Højlund hadn't scored for 21 games till he played Leicester, and we do seem to be that sort of team. And look, this is the recent form, and if you look at Leicester there, loss. Do you, as a Man City fan, look at this going like, this is just we could put the youth team out here and beat this lot?
Not anymore. Pep wouldn't play the youth team. Put it that way, he wouldn't risk the youth. He'd stick Gundo and KDB, and still he wouldn't risk that anyway. It's just, I mean, I predicted 3-0 tomorrow for City. I'm just Leicester don't. They're not very good at scoring lots of goals. They have a lot of clean sheets. United, United, you didn't score against them, flipping heck. So
we haven't scored, and I know this because I spent all my one afternoon working it out, including all the stoppage times. In the Premier League, we haven't scored for 648 minutes.
Oh, well, you're due then, aren't you? I mean, I didn't know that. I'll put you down for one now. I'll make you 3-1 now. I think you're due a goal.
We haven't when we got our front line, if you play Zayo and Dakova Reed, like a combined age of 103 or something stupid like that. I mean, it is ridiculous. We haven't got a striker. Again, we've got youth and I'm thinking, look, we're down now. Give youth a chance. Get them ready for next season. And as long as you say to them, look, don't be scared about losing. Look, the big guys are losing, so if you lose, don't be worried. Just go for it. They don't have that fear, do they? But again, Rude, like Pep, he won't play he keeps saying he's going to, but he never does play them.
No, I mean, O'Reilly's a prime example. I mean, as I said, he was in my starting 11 yesterday, and the difference in the team when he came on in the second half was unbelievable. We had some pace at last. KDB could actually put the ball into space. We had someone who could actually run onto it and do something with it, because neither winger played. We didn't have Doku or Savvy playing, so it was hard to think where's Haaland's supply line? Where's he going to lose people getting in the back? Because we don't have overlapping left and right backs anymore. We don't have Walker. We don't have, even going back to the old Benjamin Mendy situation. Pep doesn't have that. He doesn't do it. Gvardiol's very good, but he doesn't play that style, because usually he's playing behind a Doku or a Savvy, so he wouldn't need to get up like that anyway. So it is difficult to say, really. I mean, I think Leicester, as I said, I was quite impressed with Leicester when I went to watch you in that game. As I said, I don't think Rude had been there very long, had he? No, I went to watch that one. Probably January, was it? Was it January?
December. It was over. I think it was between Christmas and New Year, I believe. Yeah.
And I was surprised, as they say, it just went from bad to... I wasn't surprised with Ruud van Nistelrooy. I don't rate Ruud van Nistelrooy anyway. I thought it was a bad idea to manage anyway. It's like Rooney to me. He's just not good enough. Simple as that. Yeah. He's not done anything to say he's good enough. I mean, for me, I would want to sort of plan to get... I don't know if you have any plans, or... I mean, he's obviously the favourite to be the next manager kicked out still.
He will still be here at the end of the season, but I was hoping, having just had the international break, that they might have taken that chance to get rid of him. But, 3 managers in the season, well, I just don't think if he stays, which he is going to now, he's the man to bring us back up. But talking of the youth that we wanted to, we were talking about Jeremy Monga. He's one of our young players under 16 squad. He's scoring for fun in the under 16s. You're being linked with him, which is a bit annoying, but there we go. That's football for you. Does make me laugh when you look at who's it that's going? Is it Trent Alexander-Arnold that's going from Liverpool to Real Madrid? It's always, as I said to me Liverpool mate, there's always bigger clubs out there, whoever you are. That you see, to me, right? If you're interested, it's probably because of his age, it's going to have to go to tribunal. Yeah. So why doesn't Rude stick him in the squad, put him on the pitch for 10 minutes? If we do that, we'll get more money, because we can argue that we're bringing him through. If we don't play him, you could get him probably for peanuts, to be honest with you. And this isn't a criticism, because like I say, if that lad's got the chance, he'll probably say, yeah, I want to go to Man City. Because in a couple of seasons, if anything happens, he may not get that offer again. But if you get these youngsters that you seem to sign, and you have a lot of youngsters, has he really got much of a chance for breakthrough?
Well, look at it. I mean, I don't know if you've heard this guy we've got from Argentina, the Argentinian wonder kid, Echeverri, that we've just brought in to the squad. He's from River Plate. He came in January, of course, after we let the season finish, and he's pulling up trees as far as under 21s in Argentina. He's the next best thing and all this sort of thing. And as soon as he come, everyone's clambering. Look, it'd be great. Just stick him on for 10 or 15 minutes. But Pep's talking about next season. This guy could do bits for us now. And Ruud sounds the same sort of principle. It's just Pep's never given. You got the odd exception like Foden. He's the odd exception. Even plays like Palmer. He sticks to his tried and trusted. He doesn't risk too much, and he even didn't do that in cup games. Very rarely would he totally put a lot of kids in, unless we're playing a 3rd or 4th division club or something like that. Then he might do, but he just never did that. It's not his style. He just doesn't do it. It's as simple as that. He'll stick with his the guys he likes.
Do you think they will eventually make the breakthrough? The problem is, if I'm looking at him and I'm thinking like, well, all right, yeah, I'm 15, nearly 16. I'm being chased by Manchester City.
McAtee was told to stay with City this season.
Yeah,
because he'd see more time, and he's not. I'm not saying he's the art. I've watched McAtee, and I don't think he's a Pep's player. I don't think he would work for Pep. But he's never really had the opportunity week in, week out, and yet he was told to stay. He was told to stay at City, not go out on loan, because he would get an opportunity. Now for whatever reason, he's been lied to because he's not had those opportunities. But when he has come into the team, he's not probably done enough to say, yeah, he'll be in the next game. So that, it's a bit of chicken and egg. It's a bit of one thing or the other. But you can't just ask a young lad to come into a team and do it in one game. He needs to know that he's going to get a chance, and that it doesn't happen. Oscar Bob is the classic. Well, Oscar Bob was he got the injury, he broke his leg, so he's obviously back in training now and ready. But he was this season. Everyone was so excited for Oscar Bob, and I think Pep would have played Oscar Bob because he's an intelligent winger as well. He's not just a pacey winger. He's got a brain, which not that many footballers who play on the wing have brains, do they? So it's
not many footballers. Full stop.
So, I mean, he's fantastic. I mean, it's such a chance that he could. Because he played pre-season, of course, pulled up trees pre-season. He was going to be the breakout player of the season. Then he got bloody injured first game of the season, so that was him out, and he's not even ready to come back yet. So Pep will give people a chance. I'm hoping he would have given Oscar Bob a chance, but his track record's awful. His track, and as you say, if you got a young lad there, you've got to have serious doubts whether you're going to get the opportunities.
That's the thing, isn't it?
When Pep moves on, then perhaps it might change. But at this point in time, it's just not happening.
Well, with this, Jeremy Monger, Rude says, I'm going to sit down and have a talk with him and, tell him his future is with this club. I think, the best thing you can do is put him in the bloody squad. Words that mean nothing. I mean, McAtee is a player that we were interested in. Taking on loan at the start of the season, but of course, like I say, you wouldn't let him go. And the prime example where you say you can't give a player 10 minutes here and 5 minutes there and expect them to produce anything is Iheanacho, of course, one of your ex-players who unfortunately we let go last season. I loved him, lovely man, but he was getting. I mean, with him, it was unfortunate because you got the Vardy effect of nobody's going to knock Vardy out the team. But he was never given regular starts. And when he finally was under Rodgers, he ended up being our top goal scorer. Funny that, isn't it? You know what I mean? But I agree with you on that. But looking there, I mean, look, you are beatable. Nottingham Forest did it. Brighton
We've not turned any corners. We've not turned any corners this season, mate. There's absolutely no difference to this City team, basically, to what it was when we lost that first game. It was Bournemouth away when we started that bad run. Like 18 games, we won about 3 or something stupid like that. And it was Bournemouth. And there's no difference in this City. There's nothing in this City team to instill confidence in me. The bookies are not confident anymore. I mean, for the first time ever, we're going into games where we're not favourites to win it. Now, that's not happened for years and years, but they're not stupid, and we're not stupid as fans. This team, we're going hope. We went to Bournemouth in hope. I mean, as you said, 3 years ago. But, all right, if we lose, we lose. But hey, we should be winning this. Shouldn't be a problem. But now it's let's get a slutchy goal in the last minute. That's what I was. I'll take it off someone's ass in the final minute of the game.
I can't believe I'm hearing a Manchester City fan talking like this.
A bit of the old City's come back, so we like it as legacy. What we call legacy fans, are we? Us oldies. We like it. Of course, the younger lads aren't used to it yet. Well, I mean, look, our fans are so disillusioned that they're actually going up to the game a day early so that they don't have to actually watch it. Ant says,
And good evening, Ant. How are you doing? Why am I going to Manchester tomorrow? And as Ronald says here, and don't go to Manchester tomorrow. The game is on Wednesday.
It's a nice place to go out for the night. A few clubs around. It'll be all right. Yeah.
That's probably what he's doing. I hope he's not, because he's on my show tomorrow night. So hopefully Ant isn't going up a day early. But I'll send you a message, Ant. I tell you what, at the moment, Ant's head is all over the place. I'll tell you. Right, let's have a look at this, because this is interesting. As you can see with Leicester, there's not actually much on our strength side. In fact, I've just lost this now. Hang on a second. I can see it on there, but I should have gone to Specsavers. It wouldn't allow me to bring this up. But so our strengths are coming back from losing positions. Now, this is whoscored.com. I do not know who put this together, but we cannot come back from a losing position. I mean, good God. Did they get in, like, when they're looking at the women list or whatever? I don't know. Protecting the lead. I don't know the last time we had a lead to protect, if I'm honest with you. So I'm questioning that. I think you just got, oh God, I've got to put something down.
Yeah. I mean, it's stats, isn't it? Stats and damn lies on stats.
Exactly. Keeping possession of the ball. Yeah, we can't do that. Finishing scoring chances. Look, we couldn't score in the proverbial, as they say. We can't stop opponents from creating chances. Defending set pieces. Defending against attacks down the wings. Look, if anything's bad, then if you attack, now there's the rumours that Ricardo might be back tomorrow, who's our right back. This is rude. We actually, in January, we only bought one player. We went and bought a right back because we're having to play James Justin, who can allegedly play at right back, but he's predominantly a left back. He's played most of his career at left back, but he was playing him on the right. We were getting fleeced down that right week after week after week. We went out and bought a right back. What does he do? You'd have thought played the right back at right back. No. Hardly puts him on. He carries on playing James Justin.
It sounds as though he's taken Pep's doctrine to heart, Rude, by the sounds of it.
So have a go at us down
play him in the
right
normal
side.
Position. Don't forget that. Just play him anywhere else but the normal position.
Well, do you remember what I said earlier about getting nosebleeds if we get up to the halfway line? Leicester's style of play, playing in their own half. I mean, that just really does sum us up. I want to have a look more at, obviously, your strengths and weaknesses here. Your strengths, and let me know if you agree with this: creating long shot opportunities, creating chances through individual skill, defending set pieces, creating chances using through balls. Would you say they are your strong points?
No, not this season. No, I mean, how long does it go back? Does it go back to the 60s, that one?
No, this should be. Nearly missed that. I nearly missed that. No, this should have been this season.
I mean, that one about set pieces, that's just hilarious. I mean, we're absolutely, if you've got anyone who can do half a decent set piece, we're in trouble. Simple as that. So I don't know where that's come from, because I don't think we don't have a defensive coach. If you look at corners against us and free kicks, we obviously don't mark anyone. We just have some sort of zonal marking where they just roam around looking pensive, like that old Monty Python thing with the football match with the Greek philosophers, and they just roamed around like this, and that's what we're like on set pieces. So take that as an example. That's way out. Absolutely, I don't know where they're getting it from.
Well, it says you play with possession football, control the game in the opposition half with short passes, and attack down through the middle.
I actually saw a little bit of that against Bournemouth, for the first time ever. That's when we started to try and control. And no, we've not controlled the game all season. We've not been able to do that from being in a winning position. We've not been able to control the game. And I think the problem with Bournemouth is, of course, when they brought the guys on from the bench, they just don't have the depth. So they weren't great players who were bringing on. So they were always going to struggle long term because they couldn't bring any real quality on to trouble us. And that allowed us, I think, to that control. But it's not something we've got much of this season. All our strengths from recent seasons seem to have disappeared. But someone's cut our hair. We had big long locks, and now someone's cut it. And
wish somebody had cut bloody Haaland's hair, but I said that he's not playing. So this is interesting because these are the top players for both teams. Now, it's interesting that Haaland, on his own, has scored more goals than our top 5 put together. I mean, that's how bad we are. But I'm looking at that, when Haaland is out, like he is, Foden is his second big scorer, but that's a huge gap from 21 to...
There's Gvardiol up there. Gvardiol was our second highest scorer at one stage. Is he third there? See him on the thing, yeah.
Gvardiol is third with 5.
Yeah.
Marmouche with 4 and Kovac with 4, it says.
Yeah, we just, from a team that used to have goals from all over the pitch with the midfield, of course, Pep was his midfielder. We just don't have that. Obviously, Pep's had to adapt to Haaland. Of course, he has. I think it was a sea change when he got Haaland. He was a great player to have, of course, but Pep wasn't used to having that big lad up front particularly well. I mean, let's face it, Messi's not a big lad, is he? He's a totally different kettle of fish. So. That's like tomorrow. We're hoping Marmouche can do something because as far as other guys getting on the score sheet, Foden Gundo hits the post more than he does. KDB can't ever get it on target anymore when he shoots. He's all right passing little balls through, but I can't remember the last time he scored a goal for us from sort of long range or anything like that. So I mean, without Haaland tomorrow, that's why I only said 3-0 because I thought 3-0 was fair.
You're being kind to us. I mean, if you look at just taking to the Leicester players there, I mean, our most assists is Ndidi, and he's been out for half the season, yet he's still our top assist player. And our ratings, our highest rated player is Fatawu, who has played about 3 games and is out till next season. Now, when you're looking at stats like that, that is how bad we are at the moment. I don't expect anything. Like I say, I do honestly think you could put your B team out and still beat us. But the interesting thing is, again, just to show you I don't waste my afternoons. If you look at Leicester there, Leicester at the top of there, Leicester's where we play, where on the pitch our team's touching the ball more than their opponents in open play. This is actually from Opta. So the purple is where we have the most touches, and the pink is where the opposition have the most touches. Now, that as a Leicester fan, and this is the first time I've seen this. We've got one bit of purple in the opposition half, and that is right down in the corner. The problem is when we get it into that corner, we turn around and bring it back again. And then when you look at Manchester City underneath, where your play most, the most touches is where that's purple again. My God, can we touch the ball a couple of times, please? You allow us to do that.
Well, if you got a couple of quick young lads, you'll be all right. Especially if he puts the 4 wheelie bins in the middle again. And as I say, just attack our right and left flanks because even the guys we've got playing there, like Nunes, is absolutely not a right back in a million years, and yet he's having to play there. Rico Lewis has been accepted; he's not a right back anymore, so he doesn't play there. So we don't have a right back. So if you can get anyone up the left, you'll be all right. And of course, Gvardiol isn't the greatest left back in the world either.
Knowing Ruud van Nistelrooy, he'll look at that and he'll think, I need speed. So he'll put Jordan Ayew on the left and Bobby de Coventry on the right, and both of them are ready for the pensions. That's how. We don't have a lot of faith in our team at the moment. And here we go. This is actually looking at predicted points. I mean, they've got Leicester's finishing on 23.9. We're on 17 at the moment. Where we're going to get 6 more points from this season, I do not. I mean, the only way we're going to get that is if Ruud van Nistelrooy and maybe Jamie Vardy get done for speeding. That's the only way we're going to get 6 points. and we're more than likely going to finish in 19th place. Now, Manchester City, they've got you in finishing just short of 66 points, and your most likely position is third. They've got you finishing third, which I guess you would take, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, before we played Forest away, of course, who bored us to death the other week. They were horrible to watch. I thought Brian Clough had come back to haunt us with the style of play of Forest at the moment. I thought they were far better last season with new. He seems to have really. I think he said that though, hasn't he? I think he's concentrating on keeping. Defensively, he's worked on that more than perhaps anything else. And, obviously we got to play him in the semi-final. And, of course, I'll be taking my sleeping bag because, if they try and bore us to death like they did at the City ground and then nick it, because they were playing for a 0-0 and we give them a 1-0. So that wasn't work for them, didn't it? But, I said we could get third, but obviously after that Forest loss, I sort of said, no, we're not going to get third. We'll probably finish fourth now because Forest are sort of doing it, aren't they? Doing it week in, week out. They've got the consistency. Yeah. They've been battered a couple of times, of course they have, but no, he's done a great job there. And if we could get further, I think it's a bit too much. I don't think we're going to get it because I still don't see a big turnaround in City. We've got 8 or 9 league games left. Yeah, I'm hoping we'll get a win tomorrow, but we're going to Old Trafford on Sunday, and you can bet your life they're going to turn us over. We're going to lose that. So I'd bite your hand off for third spot, but I'll take fifth at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's still going to be Champions League, I think, isn't it? Fifth.
Yeah, I think it's the first 5, isn't it, for Champions League? Yeah. But if the worst comes to the worst, I'll win the FA Cup, I'll take the Europa or whatever you go in for that, if that's what it is. But as I said, as a project, I don't think the owner's going to be very happy, but there you go. No.
John says, I'm guessing the 6 points are against Ipswich and Southampton at home. Got to say, John, look where Southampton are. We only just beat them in about the 97th minute with the third goal. So I wouldn't even say we're going to get 6 points from there. He does apologise for putting it all in.
Well, if you get 3 tomorrow, mate, you've only got 3.9 then after that, haven't you? So you'll be all right.
If I've got more chance of dating Heidi Klum than we have of getting 3 points tomorrow. Look, I think you're giving it to us already, but your score prediction, are you sticking with the 3-0?
Yeah, I'd have to hope that we can keep a clean sheet, to be honest with you. And based on what you said, you're not put me off that thought. No. But I have to hope we can score 3 goals without Haaland, and that's the other problem. Then again, if we get a penalty, at least we might score it with someone else taking it. So
chances are you will get a penalty.
Yeah, now, every goal Haaland scores, there's probably 2 or 3 should be scoring as well. But hey, that's we shouldn't be greedy, I suppose. So I'll stick with 3-0 only on the basis that Leicester in such a shocking state at the moment. And
you're not.
We can't do that without Pep on the touchline. We may as well give up now. We're an ordinary team. You probably say yourself, Leicester are not even ordinary at the moment. They're probably a lot worse than that. So, as an ordinary team, we've got to expect to at home win this game. It's as simple. Otherwise, there'll be a lot of questions to ask.
I think there would. If anybody loses to us, I think there'll be a lot of questions to be asked. And we keep hoping that that great escape might just suddenly appear from nowhere again. It isn't going to. But look, it's been an unreal season in the Premier League this season when you look at some of the results that are out there. I'm at the point now, I think Leicester are down, but I just want points in my prediction league. So I'm actually going 2-1 to Manchester City because it would just be so Leicester for Jamie Vardy to somehow get a goal, and like I say, he's only got 7.
Well, he's always used to like playing us, didn't he? In the old days, he used to love playing us, so he might just raise his game a little bit. Of course, he's lost that half a yard, like most of our players have at the moment. But and I've been impressed with Kusanov. I like Kusanov; he's a good player, but there's a lot of pressure on people like him now. Without, of course, we've literally got our last 2 centre backs now. Everyone else is injured, so. If anything happens to Diaz and Kusanov, we're really in the mire of. But as I said, that's our problem. We should be sorting that out. It shouldn't be. I'm not going to whinge about it. It's just bad planning, and that's what cost us this season. I think bad planning, perhaps not from last year, probably from the year before as well.
Yeah. Well, like I say, with Leicester, we'll get a goal, get us all excited. will want to do a trump and end it then, and it won't be, of course, and you'll come on and win 2-1. Bernard, look, all the best, mate, for the rest of the season.
I just want to mention, I don't know if it's still going on, but there's supposed to be a little demonstration tomorrow. The fans weren't supposed to be going in the ground for about 9 minutes.
I read that, yes.
Yeah,
so what's that over?
Well, it's tickets basically, mate. It's of course they're taking Viagogo on recently, which is a ticket agency, and we're getting more and more. Let's say away fans in home parts, and there's increasing amounts of trouble going on around the ground. But they stop ordinary City fans swapping tickets to family and friends. You know, they're putting a block on it, and yet they're selling tickets to the highest bidder elsewhere. So it's all very complicated. And we have a City Matters group who deal with the board. Do you have your own? I don't know if you have one at Leicester where they're in discussion.
Well, supposedly, and we've had protests recently as well.
This City Matters group, it's all organised. They have a regular meeting with the club, and the club are just refusing to meet them at the moment. So it's all just all a bit awkward at the moment between fans and being priced out, etc., etc. So I don't know what I'll be doing tomorrow.
Like range, don't we?
I've not had I know. For me, they'll do what they want. They're the owners. Eventually they'll do what they want to do. I'm just hoping I still get my concession price on my season ticket this year that I got last year for the first time. So I'm just hoping that carries on. So I know some clubs have been trying to knock it on the head.
Man United, I think, have been knocking those on the head, haven't they?
So anyway, it is a little thing. As I said, I don't know what's happening. Whether it's gonna, I've not seen much on social media about it, and the club are actually meeting the City Matters group on Thursday now, so they probably headed off a little bit of the trouble anyway. So, but anyway, that's just another thing to add.
We will see. Yeah. Look, Bernard, I put a link in the description, so thanks very much for coming on. Look, good luck for the rest of the season. Good luck with the PSR and everything. I can't wish you good luck tomorrow, but you're going to stuff us anyway. But won't see you next season, but hopefully maybe the season after. You never know.
Yeah, when we go down, when we get the 62-point deduction, then we're back with you lot.
Exactly. Thanks to everybody that was in the chat. Appreciate it. And don't forget, smash the likes. Go and give John a subscription. He does say TV shows and film as well on his channel, reviews. So get over there and check it out. Link is in the description. Subscribe to this one if you're new, and click that notification bell. And I'll possibly see Ant tomorrow, depending whether he goes to Manchester or not. Thanks very much, mate. All the best, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.